You've learned how to record a journal entry. Debits on the left, credits on the right, and then the textbook says 5 little words posted to the ledger and just moves on. So where does the journal entry actually go, and what happens to it once it gets there? For centuries, the answer was a book. The general ledger was one master book, and inside it, every account had its own chapter. Accounts receivable, inventory, equipment, accounts payable, revenue, expenses, and more. Today, the book still exists, but it is no longer a physical book. It lives inside the accounting system. So in this video, we're going to see exactly how journal entries flow into the general ledger and how the balance in those accounts become the foundation for reconciliations, the trial balance, and ultimately the financial statements. What is the general ledger? Here is the cleanest definition I can give you. The general ledger is the complete record of all the accounts a business uses and all the financial activity posted to those accounts. As I mentioned earlier, a ledger was once a physical book. The general ledger was the master book that brought all of the company's accounts together into one complete accounting record. You can think of that book as being divided into chapters, with one chapter for each account, such as accounts receivable, inventory, revenue, or rent expense. Each chapter collected every transaction that affected that account and kept track of the account's running balance. Now let's see what it actually means to post a journal entry to the general ledger. A journal entry may affect two or more accounts. When we post it to the general ledger, each row of the journal entry goes into the chapter for the account listed on that row. Let's look at two simple examples. Example 1, sale on account. Assume a business provides $1,000 of services to a customer and allows the customer to pay later. The journal entry is you debit accounts receivable for $1,000 and you credit your service revenue for $1,000. This journal entry has two rows because it affects two accounts. The first row is the $1,000 debit to accounts receivable. That row is posted to the accounts receivable chapter in the general ledger. The second row is the $1,000 credit to service revenue. That row is posted to the service revenue chapter. But those chapters were probably not empty before this transaction. Assume the accounts receivable chapter already had a debit balance of $4,000 from earlier sales on account. When we post the new $1,000 debit, the accounts receivable balance increases to $5,000. Now assume the service revenue chapter already had a credit balance of $8,000 from early sales. When we post the new $1,000 credit, the service revenue balance increases to $9,000. So the new journal entry does not create two separate records floating somewhere in the system. Each row is added to the activity already recorded in those account chapters, and the running balance is updated. That is what posting means. Each row of the journal entry is placed into the chapter for the account it affects. Let's look at another example. Example 2, purchasing inventory on account. Now assume the business purchases $600 of inventory from a supplier and agrees to pay later. The journal entry is you debit your inventory for $600 and you credit accounts payable for $600. The $600 debit is posted to the inventory chapter in the general ledger. The $600 credit is posted to the accounts payable chapter. Again, these accounts may already contain activity from earlier transactions. Assume the inventory chapter already had a debit balance of $10,000. After posting the new $600 debit, the inventory balance increases to $10,600. Now assume the accounts payable chapter already had a credit balance of $3,000. After posting the new $600 credit, the accounts payable balance increases to $3,600. The inventory chapter now includes the new purchase along with all the earlier transactions that affected inventory. The accounts payable chapter includes the new amount owed to the supplier along with the company's other unpaid obligations. So each journal entry records one complete transaction. The general ledger then organizes each row of that entry under the account it affected and updates the account's running balance. As more transactions are recorded, each chapter continues to collect all the activity affecting that account. Now, obviously, the businesses are no longer recording all of this by hand in giant leather-bound books. Over time, paper ledgers gave way to spreadsheets and computerized accounting systems such as QuickBooks, NetSuite, Oracle, Workday, and many others. But the basic concept never changed. The format changed. The accounting structure did not. We even kept the old terminology: ledger, bookkeeping, posting an entry, and closing the books. So today, instead of thinking of the general ledger as one physical book, think of it as the central database inside the accounting system. It contains all the company's accounts and organizes the financial activity under the accounts it affects. The accounts receivable account may no longer be a chapter printed on paper. Instead, it is a digital account that you can open on a screen. But it still serves the same purpose. It collects the activity posted to accounts receivable and keeps track of the account's balance. The book disappeared, the structure did not. So why does a general ledger matter? So transactions get posted and each chapter builds up a balance. Now, what do we actually do with all that information? At the end of the accounting period, we post any adjusting journal entries needed to bring the accounts up to date. Then we review and reconcile the account balances to make sure that they are complete, accurate, and supported by valid documentation. The journal entries, account activity, reconciliations, and supporting documents create an audit trail showing how each balance was built. Once the accounts are complete and supported, the ending balance from each chapter is brought together in the trial balance. And from the trial balance, the company prepares its financial statements. So the flow is: journal entries are posted to the general ledger. The accounts are adjusted and reconciled. The ending balances are brought together in the trial balance, and the trial balance becomes the basis for the financial statements. So the next time your textbook says posted to the ledger, you'll know exactly what is happening. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who may find it helpful. Thank you for watching. I truly appreciate your support. It allows me to continue creating more accounting videos like this. See you next time.